our doctrine research, so we'll just jump down next layer of that. Not that we particularly need it for who we're fighting. We're not fighting anyone, but eventually. So in Wales we now have a hardcore kind of independent Welsh faction with the despot, State of Wales. Democratic, left-leaning democracy in Scotland. And then what we've got in Ireland, they seem to... They're still part of the German sphere. Oh, okay, they're a puppet of the Republic. I guess that was the Republic's price in the war. So it's an Italian elections. We'll have a look at that in a moment. The evidence was placed before a hesitant Jellicoe. He had known Philby to be a brilliant member of the SIS, but a double agent? He simply could not believe it. He had done too much to help his government to be working against them all along. Is all this really necessary? Questioned Jellicoe. Quite, Prime Minister. Now please make a decision, sir. The man needs to be dealt with. The options available to Jellicoe were clear, yet he hesitated. He could listen to those around him and kick Kim Philby out of the service for good, thus removing any possible threat. However, this would cause a national uproar. As a mole, surviving this long in the SIS would be scandalous. Yet, the alternative was not much better. Instead of having Philby removed, the government could try and pacify him. All future investigations into his influence would be halted with immediate effect. There would be none of the public downsides of ousting him, but he would remain an issue, leaving the possibility of communist takeover disturbingly high. The Prime Minister had to make a decision. Something had to be done. So we can throw him out, we can appease him. I think we've got to throw him out. We cannot, I mean... Sure, he's going to say, oh yeah, fine, I'm appeased. But then he's going to know that we know he's a double agent. So, political outcry be damned, he's got to go. And we can't do that because we got rid of him, so we're doing MI6s for the Queen. Philby, bereft of loyal men, will have no more influence than the average communist. By requiring an oath of absolute loyalty to the Queen, we'll be able to prevent leftists from joining our venerated service. Which one of them would truly be more interested in serving the Queen than decapitating her? It's interesting the kind of constitutional monarchies where we're all about equality and voting and that stuff, yet at the same time unwavering loyalty to a figurehead who has no power. Like, works, I suppose. And like I say, you get public holidays and fancy ceremonies. Lots of political power. Right, how are we doing? Somewhat loyal, somewhat efficient. Well, those are... Let's just skip the trade-offs and keep pushing up to the through the smaller ones. Now we keep our power for balancing the scales. Civilian austerity is over, but I'm going to go right back and put on again. Keep sure we keep rolling a deficit. Sorry, a surplus. Harry Pollitt was one of the bravest men that England had ever known, continued from Kim Philby to the crowd and the press photographers who had gathered. And when they asked for a name for this office, I could think of no better person to honour. His sacrifice in the London uprising has paved the way for the liberation of England, and a brighter tomorrow was possible because of it. This structure would originally be helping the collaborationists maintain their police state, but today it will house important work that must be done to keep us safe, to ensure the rights of people everywhere are not trampled by their oppressors. And if Harry was here today, I'm certain he would be beaming with pride at what we have done, and now he is remembered. Thank you. There was applause as Philby stepped to the red ribbon in front of a group of notables here for the dedication ceremony. The Mayor of London was not among them, eating cookies on the refreshment table. I'm not sure that sentence makes sense, but okay. He had not expected Philby to be so brief, and he hurriedly ran back on stage. Oh, I see. So he was at the event, he just wasn't stage. Ladies and gentlemen, he said, as an aide handed him and Philby sets of scissors, I now declare the Pollitt Building the new home of MI6. Hurrah. We can now spy on people. That's what every democracy needs. So I'm okay. I feel okay for political power just yet. Rebuilding stuff's probably useful. We got the poor, social programs, cheaper houses, housing. That all sounds pretty darn useful. The armed forces. I think let's deal with our people first. Rebuild the economy. It's the economy, stupid. Homelessness, hunger, sickness, such heavy conditions left to hundreds of thousands of patriotic Englishmen after the violence of our civil war. Even the traditionally comfortable classes like business owners and landlords have seen their wealth dry up, leaving a gaping hole where the economy once existed. We hope to stand on 2 feet. We must mobilise all resources possible to bring stability and comfort in the daily lives of our citizens, rich and poor. Will be a beacon of progress, hopefully. China's having a war. Yeah, civil war. So we got a fascist Republic of China. Interesting. Against an ultra nationalist. Oh, this world is full of such lovely people. Meanwhile, Divine Mandate looks like we're losing. We've got a new Prime Minister in Japan. Party and Democrats. Oh yeah, I was going to look at who won the election in Italy. Giorgio Almirante. Foreign Democrats. Okay. Burgundian bunkers. Oh, could be dangerous. So this Ordnungsstadt Burgund, an independent country, essentially, run by Himmler, is pretty nuke happy. Just go watch that. And this game can end in just all-out nuclear holocaust. Let's try and avoid that. After a morning of unproductive meetings, one could use a nice stroll to clear the mind. So thought the Prime Minister as he walked out the palace. Jellicoe's stroll would not stay pleasant much longer as he rounded the corner, hoping to pick up a pastry from his favourite bakery. Instead, he ran into a crumbling storefront, a faded sign hanging slanted on a dirty glass. The whole street was in a sorry state. For every open business, there were 2 more closed. Homeless dotted the streets, surrounded by empty houses. Suddenly, a single gunshot loudly broke Jellicoe's focus on the street, as his security detail dragged him away. A woman shrieked as she entered her husband's room, finding him with a smoking pistol in one hand and a brown envelope in the other. The Prime Minister returned to Downing Street shaken, but fulfilled with new resolve. Get Shirley on the line. Shirley, something can be done. Don't call me Shirley. Alright, Hungary is locking themselves down. 50s projectiles, we're only 15 years behind tech there. Right, the poor. London ruins are a sorry sight. Emancipated children, haggard emaciated children, haggard families, rampant crime. And this is the centre of our wealth. Imagine the situation in rural villages. We cannot move forward with so many people, so many children, in dire economic straits. As of now, our most immediate goal is to provide necessities to all those left in destitution. 3 meals a day, clean water, a heated home, basic healthcare. These are our promises to those who suffered the violence of the Civil War. I think that's fair. We were voted in well, we won the war and then we voted in a wave of promises which we need to keep. Well, maybe not by the standards of politicians these days, but ideally that's what we do. Don't get political of internet, it never ends well. Yeah, it's still going fine. We're a bit shy of political power, we might have to look into that. We're losing stuff for austerity, I might have to stop pushing that austerity button. But I don't want my debt to grow. Already massive and we're paying 5% interest. It's crazy, man. Almost twice our GDP. Which is bad. We can pay it down at least. The poor. I've completed the poor. Right, social programs. Or cheaper housing. This gives me building slots. Let's go for the social programs then. Looks like the Divine Mandate is lost. Oh, hey, Spunko. The legacy of the fascist collaborators is one of scraps to the poor. With the current state of our economy, we must immediately rectify this callousness. We will find the money, whatever means, nationalise, tax, expropriate if absolutely necessary, all for uplifting the poor. We can't tread too hard on individuals with sums of wealth. We can cut them down just a peg to feed the hungry and house the homeless. So we can be a little bit socialist, not all outright. Okay, so Germany has gone to war with the Central European Council. These guys have just been fighting forever, essentially. First to consolidate the Balkans, Baltics even. Now they're about to be wiped out because they are not standing up to Germany. Look at them fall. What's changed? Not a huge amount. So, well, actually, that's not true. We are now, it depends on when you left, we are now the Kingdom of England. And we have the Queens back for ourselves. Meanwhile, who have we got? Giorgio won the elections in Italy. And, yeah, okay, Arkusk beat their neighbours. So they're battling out with the Divine Mandate. I think that's about it. We have big changes. Yeah, cheaper housing. Makes sense. As we've picked up our social programmes, there have been some blowback from the private sector. Nowhere has been more acute than the well-organised associations of landlords. They protest about the communist proposal to create public housing. More productively, they have worked with some of our social democratic and liberal colleagues to draft a plan for cheaper housing via public-private partnerships. We'd encourage these landlords to build thousands of new housing units with certain regulations, keeping public housing to a marginal level. Better way of doing it. As evil as lots of the private sector may be, at least they are more efficient than government. Yeah, they are just getting ruffle stumped. Oh, Indonesian war. The Pacific Allied. Free Indonesia declared war on Indonesia. That's quite the spread. But we've got fascist Indonesia against liberal democratic Free Indonesia. Cool. But you know, I never noticed before they've added additional crossings. That makes life a lot easier. Yeah, there you go. Quick war, and after all that, we back where we started with the Reich Commissariat Ostland. The Siberian Black League wins. Where are they? What are these guys? Can't see them. Never mind. Yeah, that's true. AI is not the smartest. Right. Too many pop-ups. The Housing Act. Our new Housing Act, built in consultation with all parties affected from landlords to the homeless, is a major step towards making housing affordable to everyone. We're using some of our funds to subsidise housing development, setting caps on rent and requiring certain standards to be met for all new projects. We'll move much closer to giving everyone a roof over their heads. Perhaps one day, everyone can have not just a place to lay their head, but a place they proudly call home. I thought they were going to go for the an Englishman's home is his castle line there, but never mind. I feel like they've missed a trick. Battle for Italy. Ooh. Wonder if we'll see them fall apart. Been pretty quiet in the Levant actually. Their partitioning seems to have worked for now. Ah, maybe they don't have content yet because they have no focuses. Okay, fair enough. And paused, that's why nothing's happening. Iberian Union still working through their rebel issues. Ho Chi Minh has died. How the Indonesian war is getting on. Oh, I think Indonesia's certainly eating up the mainland. I won't have any information on them, I'm sure. Where are we? Divisions? 23, 38. Ah, it's very, very close actually. Oh, it'll be interesting to see which way that goes. The Empire of Vietnam, okay. Don't feel like you've got any bigger, you've just changed yourself to an empire, but sure, whatever. You want to feel good about yourself by changing your name? Minister of the Crown, the Secretary of Foreign Affairs, St. John Stevas, was sitting at his desk, staring intensely at a piece of paper in front of him. He lifted his eyes, and he saw his principal private secretary Pritchard enter the room. "Good morning, Minister," said the Secretary. 2 weeks ago, I should report about the rumours of a CIA interference in the civil service. This report is totally unintelligible and doesn't answer the question, responded John Stevas. Well, Minister, we'd be happy to draft it for you. And it would still not answer my question. Will you give me a straight answer to a straight question? Are there agents of the CIA in the civil service? Well, Minister, if you ask me for a straight answer, then I shall say that looking at it by and large, taking one thing with another in terms of the average of departments, and in the final analysis, it's probably true to say, in general terms, you would probably find that there probably wasn't very much in it one way or the other. So, no? No, Minister. That's a relief. Other matters. Do you have that statement to the press about meeting in Washington? Yes, Minister. For anyone who doesn't know about the programme, yes, Minister, it is fantastic and hilarious take on British politics. I think they remade it actually recently. I don't know what the new one's like, but the original was very funny. Definitely worth a watch. I don't know if it translates much outside of Britain, but you never know. Race or buff our leg industry. Not that we're doing much fighting. We are not quite in 66, but close enough. We'll just do that. Tech's not that big of a deal at the minute. How much time is tomorrow? It's mad, and yeah, we've got a reasonable sized team on it. But I don't know when they start developing it, because there's years of work in here, and the amount of writing that goes into it all, and those little Easter eggs and things. It's yeah, it's crazy, and because obviously you just got a bunch of passionate amateurs pulling this together. So you got to think, well, someone's got to try and manage that, and so I'm for my in IRL work in kind of project management, and you know, pulling people together to do the same thing is not easy. No, exactly, unpaid. It's hard enough when it's people's actual jobs that are getting paid for, let alone people just doing it for fun. So yeah, hats off to the kind of the team leading the mod. The jobless. As the English Civil War has drawn to a close, we are now free to focus on economic recovery as well as our political situation. So far, the data is dire. We must begin to reconnect with those who have been turned out by the war and those who have lost their jobs amidst the ravages of the conflict. After we have assessed the status of our economy from an employment perspective, we can begin to propose programmes and special government action. This might involve some wrangling of party factions, but surely can all come together to rebuild our country and get England working again. More jobs. Is there? Oh, we have clickables for the Housing Act. So we have to get the Act through Parliament. That's cool. So we've got... Will you tell me my total supports? Here we go. 228 of 502. So we need to get 30 more MPs, okay? Strength of Democrats increases. Who are the moderate wing? There. So we can get 30 more of those guys. Or we can go for these dudes at cost of making socialists popular. That sounds terrible. Or unbalancing our scales. I see. Well, let's push them through. What up to now? So we're going to have to do one or the other. Okay, well, we'll give the Liberals the nudge on this one. That's still not enough. Alright, looks like we're going to have to do both. But hopefully those three will balance it out. There we go. Come back. We're up to now 251. You're killing me. I hope we don't have to do the communists. That'll be frustrating. Right. Go away. Tech. More artillery. That's now ahead of time, so artillery is now up to speed. Excellent. So, how's our planes? Our planes are not. Wow, we're still using 1950s planes. There you go. Alright. Let's bring them up to speed. In a massive new facility in Sidcup, South London, the first bottles are loaded onto trucks to go all out across London and Southern England. They're loaded onto shelves, and as soon as the doors open, they're gone. The trucks go back and bring more to a thirsty and eager population. Coca-Cola has not been available legitimately in England since the Second World War. There you go. Teach the world to sing. Have you got any helicopters? No, I don't actually. But I do even have it. What, do I have the right tech for it? No. It's like cars and really cheap. Oh, maybe that's a way to go then. Alright, why not? I've not done helicopters. I'll give them a shot. Yeah, we'll switch out. We'll build some helicopters. I know we're about to get new ones, but may as well start them. Are they built in here? Aha! Experimental helicopter, early helicopter. You're outdated. No, I'll wait for the tech to come through and I'll build them. You can add them to units. Ah, cool. I'll have to look at that. How are my infantry looking? Probably pretty rubbish. Actually not too bad, although I'm short on artillery, but yeah, we'll get some helicopters. Can you? I wonder if they come in as support divisions or is it just line troops? Well, I'll find out when my research finishes. Jobless, okay. Lots of job growth or just flat jobs? I'll go for this. Even before the Civil War, the northern parts of England struggled due to cuts in government funding and projects. No government member wanted to associate with such a rebellious region, and so employment and growth lagged behind the south. Heavy fighting did not improve the situation, and now infrastructure and housing are a significant problem. Now that the Civil War is over and we face less pressure from Germany, we can begin to push more funding towards these left behind areas and help them to once more become the industrial heart of England. Something about levelling up the north? Support. Okay, cool. Yeah, I must admit, I mean, maybe it changes on my playthrough because obviously I've only done the Iberian Union and now England, but I've never found the army plays that significant a part in it. You know, you just seem to keep a relatively modern version of whatever you've got, and that seems to overcome your problems. Even in Iberia, where it all fractured, I think I had a few tank units which seemed to kind of win through. But that might change if you're doing the Russian unification or some of the main German playthroughs, probably. Oh, Big Red's at it again. And Poland. Well, it's an odd place for Poland to be. I don't think they're going to be around for much longer either. Well, it looks like Irkutsk is going to win this one. I think they've pushed in. Yeah. Oh. Next up, dealing with the bosses. While we do not intend to give our country over to the interests of large capitalist institutions, their help is necessary in revitalising our economy, ensuring that we can recover from the war. We can hand out vital projects with ample government funding for national recovery that will get big business on our side. For people happy and working and the nation ready for the future, we will of course remain careful to avoid a descent into corporate cronyism, and there will be oversight for these projects, making sure they are fulfilling our expectations. Yeah, because large-scale government investments always go so well. But this time it'll be different. Okay. Ah, I was like a day too late, too slow. Oops. Oh well, never mind. On the TV screens, a reporter announced that the new act was voted down by the MPs in the Commons. Hopefully the next one will turn out better. Oh well, that's my own fault, but hey ho. I want to keep my power for now, I think. Oh, Order's in charge from Brittany. Good Friday Agreement. Okay. To do with foreign jobs. We still have enormous trade dependence on the United States and the rest of OFN, and some of our members have grown uncomfortable with the number of jobs being shipped overseas to these nations. Furthermore, there are many Americans here in England, and many say they are taking away our jobs. They're taking our jobs! And the hard-working English men and women. The more liberal elements of our party maintain that such trade is necessary in the economic ties of Americans further our national security interests. Must find a way to diffuse tensions on both sides regarding this vital economic issue before the complaints boil over. Okay, that's fine. What are we doing? Report. Go, go. How's the rest of the world getting on? Oh, that war was quick. Oh no, it wasn't. It's Samara. Ah. I thought it was in there for some reason. Ah, Polska's picking up a fight. Ah, let's slow down over here. The Commonwealth of Siberia has just been chilling for ages. Which presumably will give them an edge in the final battle. Japan might be fun. Yeah, I don't know what the... obviously you get pop-ups about various switching of powers, and but I don't know what their actually main storyline is. Probably a choice between maybe kind of strengthening control over, I don't know, maybe decolonizing, I'm not sure. Don't know. But yeah, I imagine it would be something fun. And it looks like the de facto, not de facto, the original Indonesia is going to come out on top. 1832, yeah, they've dropped down. Another failed rebellion. Should have given them lessons, man. Show them how it's done. Right, I've got a little bit of army experience. No, I was going to save the helicopters. It's good. So 1.5 stacks and a few random trucks. Okay, foreign jobs, here we go. Recently, Parliament has been embroiled in debate on whether new government should prioritise the growth of foreign or domestic jobs. Opinions on what direction has split the NDL down factional lines. Surprisingly, both Minister Williams and MP Powell both agree in prioritising domestic job growth, and their respective factions are like to follow along with them. Both acknowledge the effects of this would be not seen for some time. However, both argue this would ensure England's economic independence and strengthen her in the long run. For the good of England, open ourselves or place our own needs over the profits of others. So Stevis argues short-term growth, bringing in foreign jobs is the way to go. I'm going to go for long-term growth, I think. Seems like a good approach. Alright, let's finish on the economy section. Our dependence on trade with the US has been both a historical weakness and a vital artery. During the Second World War, our failure to defend this trade cost us dearly. During the Civil War, it was one of the few avenues we had to acquire food and manufacture goods from abroad. Now that the Germans no longer have control over who we can and cannot trade with, we must reopen this vital trade partnership. Surely the Americans would be amenable to such a proposal. Hopefully, because I'm currently trading with loads of other people because they don't like us. What are they doing anyway? Send in the advisors, whole lot of nothing. They did have an early war to puppet Guyana, but that's about the only thing we've seen out of America this run. All the AB are still on the go. Yeah, and the mandate is ending. Can't get too upset about that. That might be a fun run at some point as well, though. Okay, focus on OFN or expansion into free Europe. French state, Iberian Union, Sweden. Okay, we can do it both. This gives us production efficiency growth. This just gives opinion boost. Well, let's start with this one. The OFN is our greatest ally. Just as they help us militarily, we can help them economically. We shall expand our trade operations, especially the US. Seems sensible. That was our doctrine, I believe. Yes, we can keep going through that and get that finished off. We've got a little bit of spare power, so let's drop 100 into reducing those two. Our shot. So that's it then, says Stevis. I'll be delivering our application to President 2 days from now and the rest of OFN after that. That's the plan, said Jellicoe. We have the necessary requirements, strategically placed, free and democratic. unable to carry out our own weight. Isn't that what the OFN wants? We offer them a lot, and they should be happy to have us. There's this doubt. What if they don't? It would be ridiculous, but it might still happen. Of course it's bloody ridiculous, agreed Powell. A rare response for Stevas. We are Britain, aren't we? Well, no, we're not. We're just England. How can they play the part of the Allies without us? It just doesn't make any sense. They need us just as an ego booster and nothing else. Correct, said Jellicoe. They can work with us, and there's access to the North Sea and missiles 15 minutes from Germania. Or they won't, and we'll have to operate everything from Iceland. It's as simple as that. Americans aren't idiots. Interesting. The most young women would not imagine spending their 16th birthday crammed into a crate of grapes in the hold of a schooner crossing the English Channel. Yet that's exactly how Marceline Bouvier spent hers. She's 5'6", black of hair, dark circles under her eyes, and a few laugh lines around her mouth. Burn marks ripple across her neck. In her eyes shone a determination few other girls her age possesses. She survived things that average Briton cannot imagine. The sole survivor of a family of French Protestants, the Bouviers were victimised by their Catholic countrymen, harassed by their neighbours. The abuses culminated with a firebomb being thrown through the window of the Bouvier household. Marceline arrived home in time to see the flames consuming her sister's bedroom. She plunged into the blaze, attempting to save her family, but she was already too late. Alone and hounded by Catholics, she fled for England, never to return. Her story has sparked countrywide outrage against Enoch Powell and his patriots, with Powell specifically taking fire for his numerous comments about immigration. The story of Marceline Bouvier is kindling compassion in Englishmen and women across the nation. Curiously, however, when I attempted to reach Mrs. Bouvier at the address to which she'd claimed to be staying, she was not there, and the landlord claimed to have never hosted any such young woman under that name. Similar searches to other popular refugee abodes have met with dead ends. The township in the south of France Bouvier claims to be from does not appear in any current or past mass, and libraries Oxford or Cambridge possess. It's all ruse. And the author cannot be reached for comment. So it's just a ploy. How's that affected our balance? Nah, not much. That's fine. That's fine. You got there, Scotland, some tanks. Won't help you. Yeah, Poland didn't fall in the end. Bandits in Kazakhstan. The Khan rises. What's that? Oh, there, the Khanate. Right in front of my face. Huh. Yeah, so OFN done. So now we can do the rest of Europe. Free Europe, that is. While Spain and France may not be the most democratic nations, they are somewhat free from the grip of the German Reich. Alongside these nations, we can also expand trade to Scandinavia and the Balkans. We can improve our economy and increase our influence in Europe. Yeah, these guys are doing okay. Stable, strong and stable. Yeah, Turkey, I don't think, doesn't have a focus tree. That's one I think they are missing, given it's such a kind of key player in the Triple Alliance. Are we in debt? We are by billion. Oh, that's unfortunate. And it's mainly civilian, but with some military spending. Okay. Don't want to spend less stuff, but perhaps I shall. Alright, I'll do that. That was such a token change, one factory. Just want to keep the rest. Hopefully we can grow our way out of trouble. Italy's government is vastly different to ours, but that isn't important right now. Regardless of ideology, Italy hasn't had good relations with Germany for almost 20 years, making them a bulwark against German expansion. If we sign some trade agreements, we might be able to sway them closer to our side. Yeah, well, you guys are still fascist, I suppose. Bit of a kaleidoscope though. Yeah, no focuses for these guys. Yet. Germany's declared war on the Moscow autonomy. Interesting. reforming the Reich Commissariat of Moscow. Well, I'm pretty sure that's going to be pretty one-sided. Pretty strong net socialism. Trade agreements with Italy are done, and we've got our attack helicopters. So let's talk about reducing our amount of factories we're building. But anyway, let's build one of them. Where are we? Oh, I forgot. It's in here. Is it not? Am I just being blind? I saw it earlier. Ah, here we go. Right at the top. Yeah, why not? We'll stick 2 factories on that. Fall further into debt. Actually, speaking of which, we should on improving our industry since we can. More speed, more production efficiency would be nice, which we've already got. Alright, let's go construction speed then. And next focus, into a new phase. Now that all of our immediate economic issues have been dealt with, we can move on to social matters. The social issues of a country must be addressed, from taxation to education. We owe the English people, whether they voted for us or not, for a better future, for a better England. Really good. Although I have noted on the on a whole bunch of these, it says, where is it? Not dealing with unification or sea lion, which does warn me there's a distinct chance that Germany's going to come knocking at some point. I mean, unification sounds good. Sea lion, not so much. More Russian unification kicking off. Yeah, no surprise in that war. Germany's got a fairly who you have to know? Caucasian Reich Commissariat. Where's that? Well, you'll show me now if I do this. Oh, right down here. Oh yeah, in the Caucasus, of course. Oh, the Mongolian leader has died. Yeah, Germany is going to be a beast. They've obtained control over all the Reich Commissariats. We shall see them off if they come knocking, he said unconfidently. An evening drive. Jellicoe put down the economic report. He groggily rubbed his eyes and started to head out for the night. He'd been working overtime for the last several weeks, arguing with his advisors in Parliament to pass emergency bills and stabilise the economy. Projections showed that the perilous freefall he had been in has, at least for now, stabilised. He saluted the guard as he drove away. Jellicoe drove down a street and smelled in the calm evening air the smell of a freshly baked bread. He saw a happy family moving boxes from a car. Although there was still much to do with the economy, Jellicoe couldn't help but feel some satisfaction. The job wasn't done, far from it. Stevas had riled up the Liberal wing to shift the country's focus to social reforms, notably decriminalising homosexuality. Already the Patriots have come out strongly in opposition, although Powell seems reluctant to follow along with the more hateful rhetoric coming from his faction. However, if his party didn't act decisively, the Socialists would definitely use this to gain more support. Yes, the next weeks and months of Jellicoe's prime ministership would be spent trying to wrangle his party to act, one way or other, to address the social issues of England. That was tomorrow's problem. Jellicoe felt he deserved at least one good night's sleep. Well, hopefully we can be a bit more liberal and equal England. It seems a bit silly to escape the oppression of a jackboot just to oppress our own countrymen. But we shall see. We go building a nation, or we could do some of this league stuff. I don't feel a massive need for it. That may change shortly if something happens. What does this stuff do? Political power. Those guys like us. Just okay, more internationals. Opinion. Alliance. I feel like this is probably where I'm going to stick on rebuilding the nation before we worry too much about our international status. Let's go for that. The Civil War has left England scarred physically, economically and culturally, as sobbing fathers, mothers, daughters and sons bury their loved ones. The nation must begin the process of rebuilding itself from the ground up. Cities must be rebuilt, roads must be repaved, and the people's wounds must be healed. Whilst the worst may have passed, a long, costly process of reconstruction lies ahead, which the new government must pursue immediately to secure the new status quo. It may take months or even years to rebuild, but with classic English spirit it can be done. England has been bowed and bloodied, but she remains unbroken. So we get some free infrastructure, which I think is all we are building at the minute. Whereas constructions, this one. Yeah. So I probably should skip that. Well, we'll get free stuff where we've got space for it anyway. I think. Worth checking, I suppose. Scotland, East Midlands. We'll finish all this stuff, to be honest, before we get very far with our buildings, so it's fine. It's fine. If we have a slight inefficiency, yeah, so be it. We're far away from those things. Yeah. Cox is back in line. We could upgrade our fire flamethrowers. Let's do that. Well, actually, before I do that, have I been keeping up to date with my science? Yeah, it's 70 is the next one. Fine. We don't need fire control. Good. Indonesia defeated Free Indonesia. Yeah, we saw that one coming. Slow war. I guess it must be pretty long, terrible times out in the desolate Siberia. Omsk's eating Yurga. Or Yugra. How's our political power? We've got a little bit. I'm probably going to regret spending this at some point, but let's keep boosting those up. If we can get it over to the next. Presumably once we're in the top 3 it'll change to very loyal, or just loyal and efficient. It'd be good to get rid of these two. Yeah, there's the Indonesian Civil War. The Siberian Blackreed has defeated the thief territory of Yurga. Yeah, these guys are Blackreed. Ultra-nationalism. Oh god. Yeah, we can reorganize the counties on lords and titles, or what there is to save. Education reform. That sounds useful.